What's going on, tubers? How y'all doing today? It's your boy Z-Rex. No noise. We live. It's Sunday, Sep 1921. It's been a few days since I made a video, but there just hasn't been shit going on in the bitty bitcoins of the world. Just staying in these stupid ranges. Nothing has changed since the last video. I guess it was, what, the 13th? Oh gosh, I guess it's been 5 days. Holy crap. Time flies, don't it? Oh, let's see here. We're just jumping right into this video. We don't need no intro, nothing. We're just going to go straight to that PA, baby. Anyway, yeah, there ain't shit changed. I mean, you can even kind of see, when was the 13th? Back over here. Looks like... yeah, just back in the stupid range. I mean, it's like we're right back where we were in that same time frame. You know, we did get a little bit of a nice attempt by the bulls after the that last video above 47, this horizontal here, and they're trying, but you got that major 618 right here at the 48,000 handle. And then there's also a 618 from this candle structure, from this sell-off, from measuring. Here, I'll just do it real fast. From measuring from here to here. Or if you use bodies, from right there. So that's what this is kind of denoting, is the 618 just from this candle in this intermediate structure. So you kind of have like double 618s right here. I mean, this is a real dangerous zone for me to be holding. Lots of long exposure. Yes, the weekly still looks okay-ish. I'm still not a super fan of this either. I mean, because technically this is a lower low than this structure, and we potentially are putting in a lower high on the weekly structure. So I mean, that's not super sexy, but I mean, ultimately it is just kind of this big box range on the weekly, on the macro. Monthly is kind of, it looks fine. The monthly actually is super high time frames look okay. It's really just the daily and the lower time frames that are a little bit questionable. There's just no momentum on this biatch. What's up, Texas Nate? How you doing, sir? There's it's just not really. I mean, it's just trying. I do like this reaction right here, off of the tops of the previous business in this consolidation zone. So, I mean, that's kind of nice, but ultimately it still stays the same as what we were talking about before, about 44 and 48, until we get really like a nice few daily candles above or below that range. You can see that we're trying to do it on the top side. We're kind of struggling right at around 48,000. And I know it's like 48 to whatever, $200 does not really matter to me in Bitcoin land. So about 48,000 handle until we really can close definitively above that. And really, I'd like to see at least 2 or 3 dailies above 50,000. And then I'd start to think that this was just a little bit of a bear trap and we probably start moving up. But right now, it's just not, we don't have enough data. And this isn't like, let's just take off all these oscillators. I mean, this isn't like the prettiest price action. I mean, it already is getting kind of rejected from this business right here. You know, like that upper 48s and 49,000. I mean, so it's not an easy read. It's just kind of neutral as hell. Nothing too sexy. The one thing that I will say that I don't like is, what are bulls supposed to be doing in a bull market? They're supposed to be rallying and going up. You know, we aren't really doing that for the last couple of weeks now. Really since, you know, after the first week of September, and we got this little nasty guy right there. So we're kind of just chilling, going sideways. I mean, this is just super smack in the middle of the range, really, for the last like 40-something days. And so I'm just not that excited to have lots of exposure on at the zone. I'm actually just waiting. And you can see on the weekly, too, with the mama. I mean, look at this thing. Could it really follow it any much better? Broke down, engulfed, rallied right up against it. You know, we talked about this a lot in the videos all back in this consolidation, that a lot of times price, I don't know what it is, something special about the mama, but you will get stuff like this happening. And we are, I mean, it's like painting right on it. And so I think it's like in the forward-looking projection of the mama is actually really showing us a pretty good base, and it's agreeing with the price action and analysis that we've been doing for the last really month or so. It's kind of been the same. We got one little fake out here. This is where it looked really sexy. This is where the bulls should have been taking it. And that's the biggest also problem to me is like the bulls were getting all the momentum. And then in one day, they just lost like all of it. So now they got to rebuild all the momentum again. And it's just like, damn it, this is not what the bulls are supposed to do and strong if they're being strong. All right, so now though we are just sitting atop to the left, looking left on the structure. So it's just a real kind of neutral, boring, stupid read here. If we zoom in a little bit, you can kind of see that the EMAs started to kind of reset, but they're not. They're really flat and sideways. This is not. There's no momentum here. This is just really just lollygagging around. And I mean, I don't usually care about the 3 hour or lower than the 458 on crypto. But it's also showing the same thing. Just really, just really sideways, pretty sloppy, just no momentum anywhere on the oscillators. There's no momentum on the lower time frame on the 458. And the daily doesn't really have any either. I guess on the daily DMI, you do have to lean a little bit bearish because the bulls are in the weak zone. And so that's probably the worst part about it is this candle, the 618's all right here, and there's just no sexy momentum on oscillators for the daily. So I'm just not really a huge fan of this. I'm just being cautious. I want confirmation of this zone, and it's kind of like the Russell. You know, the Russell's been going sideways for most of this year, and when you're smack in the middle of the range, it's just a 50-50 proposition. That it's going to go up or down, and that's kind of where Bitcoin's at right now to me. And I do think for just keeping it as simple as possible, that 50K area for the dailies, we start getting like 2-3 dailies open and close above that. It's very important that they do open and close above that. Then I would start getting a lot more bullish and probably looking for mid-50s on the run. And conversely to the downside, if it goes below 44,000, pretty much 44 flat, I think any price action below that is probably going to get worked into between 40 and 42. And as I've been saying for a while, below 42,000 really starts to open the door that not bear trap action just from the short term, but this is just a giant bull trap. We start getting below and open and closing below 42,000, I would be looking for upper 30s, probably at minimum on that. But, that's just kind of, we got to hurry up and wait and see. Hurry up and wait. Above 50 on a couple dailies, probably get some continuation. Below 44 probably gets us to test that 42, and then that's when the real test for the bulls comes in to play is around that area. They best not be losing 44. I mean, even off this structure, getting back below like 46.5 is kind of ugly as well. But we'll just leave it at the original because we haven't really had any new price information to say otherwise. So about 42 is kind of the real line in the sand on this big formation. We don't want to see that. And let's see, the weekly's about to close. Yeah, I mean, whatever. This weekly's ugly. And you can see, too, not only is this fib extension, this little box here, it also lines up with pretty much the open, the doji, and the close of all these candles. So lots of confluence there. And it looks like it's even the bottom of these two candles and a couple little wick-offs and closes. So it's definitely a very critical area here around that 50K level. All right, let's see what futures closed last week at. It closed right at 47-ish. Yeah, I mean, technically the weekly's trying to get bullish here, so maybe there is still some fuel in the tank on this guy. The futures chart does not look as bad. The worst part is the momentum is gone on the oscillators. So man, and it's kind of saying the same thing on the weekly or on the futures chart, although it's a little bit lower. It's only about 49.5 instead of the 50K area. So we get back above 49.5 on a few dailies. That'll be good too. Ethereum, same shit as last time. I mean, there's there's just nothing to really add to the last video from 5 days ago or whatever. 33 and 36 is pretty much the range. You start getting below 33-ish, then 30,000, 3050 on the bottom end is pretty much your range. This is kind of shitty looking. There is no, like, bears actually kind of have the momentum right now on the oscillators. Is that true on futures as well? It's neutral, more neutral on the futures on the oscillators. Pure price action, though, is still fine. Really showing that, 3,300-ish area is the line in the sand. Let's zoom in a little bit. Yeah, I mean, you just can't really do anything with this. It's right smack in the middle. I guess the best thing is it's kind of coming up with this 200, and it's got the that 33 horizontal with all this business right there below it. Man, but if this time if it does break 33 again, it probably will test like 3,050-ish, somewhere like that, 3,100 maybe. I would look for that to be tested. If we did get that, let's see what this high anchored VWAP is. Yeah, now we're back below it. To be fair, this is actually a super technical bearish reset short pattern. But as I've talked about a lot, it does have the 200 right below it, so it kind of makes it not as sexy of a signal. But man, that's why I think this time around, this 33 to 32, like 70-ish area is super important for the bulls. We start getting below that probably on most time frames, like 2, 3, 4 hour and up. We start getting some closes below there, we're probably gonna get some pressure to the downside. Well, let's see what the fib extension is on this. Yeah, see, that's not what you want to see. You don't want to see dojis. You do not want to see doji indecision candles with follow through at 618 retracement zones, and then have them already all fall back into the range. That's showing that bears have a little bit of strength on the low time frames, but it's really not concerning until we start seeing price below about 33, 32.80. So kind of easy peasy on there. Same shit, different day. Futures are giving a little nice support at that 3,100 area. Yeah, no momentum though either. I'm just not a huge fan of this price action. We can actually do 3 hour for futures because they're not true 24/7. I find that the 3 hour is just a little bit cleaner. The 458 I really like for something that, like, all cryptos that are traded 24/7 for sure. But CME, that's more like a ES contract or NASDAQ or something like that. Anyway, yeah, I mean, I just don't really like this stuff, man. It's right in the middle of the range. Are people going to call this some inverted head and shoulders? Yeah, maybe. I mean, I guess you could argue something like that. It's a little bit sloppy with the little line about that. Really kind of also adding to that 3,600 handle area. So 33, 36 is kind of the range we're in now. And then below that, you can look for about 3K and then 33. But man, even just kind of getting back below here, bulls, what are bulls supposed to do in a bull market? They're supposed to get price going up. And if they're not, and you start making some lower highs and stuff, you need to be cautious. I will say that ETH does look a little bit better than Bitcoin staying atop this 33 level. So until it really gets below there, it's fine. It's not too crazy. Litecoin, yeah, this little spike, just all back in this stupid box range. Look at this shit. I mean, hold up. Let me see if I can get this highlighted. Yeah, I mean, we're just back in this range, very important range, 165, 185-ish. Until we're out of that, it's super neutral and just don't really care about it. XRP is kind of, man, dude, these charts are squeezing up, dude. There's a big move coming up on these charts. Let me pull up Bollinger Bands real quick. Let's see here. Yeah, we're super, super tight on them BBs. Let's see if other coins are kind of showing the same thing. Yeah, I mean, this is a little bit sloppy. I mean, look at this. EMAs all within like 5-10 cents of each other. No momentum anywhere to be seen. It's just super, super sloppy. Weekly is just kind of whatever. Hold on, let me go back to the weekly. I mean, above a buck, it looks okay. You could argue that this is some kind of flag-ish formation. I don't like this last candle in it, that it kind of broke the bottom range of, like, the flag, the high and tight flagness of it. But as long as it's holding $1, you know, it's probably all right. Anything back below a buck, I would probably be looking for like 85, 90 cents-ish. Probably a little bounce there, but yeah, I mean, this is just sloppy reads, man. Sideways. And price, like, the bulls aren't making it go up. Like, in a bull market, we should be getting rallies, some big rallies, and we're not really getting that on some of these altcoins. Yeah, some altcoins have pumped to the freaking moon, whatever. There's always going to be outliers, but some of the more old school coins that have been around for a while, you know, they're just like the market's accepting price on the lows after this sell-off, so that's not really that sexy. And it's like pretty much all of them, Litecoin, XRP, same here. Ethereum Classics looks all right as long as it's on this trend line, same shit as the video 5-6 days ago. Nothing's changed. That's why I didn't really even make a video, because it's just like, just be talking the same crap, whatever. I like to try to do one Sundays, though. But anyway, for the weekly kind of wrap-ups. But, yeah, I mean, it's staying above the 21 EMA, so that's okay. This engulfing candle is kind of shitty. So, I mean, it's just sloppy, man. No momentum on the oscillators. You know, it's not like back here, you know, like, oh, yeah, it's still bullish. Well, it is, but it's not like over here when it was, like, opening the trend. EMAs look nice and erect to the upside, just looking super sexy. And we just don't really have that. Maybe we're trying to saucer out here and base out for the next run up. That definitely could be the case. But as long as it's kind of holding this little trend line and about 45-ish bucks, it's probably okay. Definitely not my favorite chart, though. DOT actually is showing relative strength against the market. It's back in this little previous box range that it was in before over here, ping-ponging along. Actually, DOT looks a little bit better. It does have pretty nasty bearish divergence for 3 stabs now. You got this, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And a lot of times some big moves will come out of 3 stabs like that. But, you know, really not to worry about that till we lose like 32 bucks. If we did lose 32, I'd be looking for upper 28s. 458. Yeah, it's okay. Real sloppy momentum. Nothing real sexy there. The weekly is pretty nice here. Kind of giving a little bit higher support than that 32 at about 33 half-ish. Probably fair to say it's probably fair to say that 33, we get a couple daily closes in a row below 33. That's probably going to bring in some lower price action into the upper 20s. So, but hey, right now it is showing relative strength. So this is actually one of the better looking charts so far. Terrible. I do not like this chart at all. There's a little bit of bearish momentum. The 200's way down here at 160. You're pretty much barely holding on. The bulls are like, and you know, this is the same too. I've been using 250 on this guy. Above 250, you're in the clear. Below 250, bulls got to watch out. And that's still the same thing as the last video. And now we kind of have to look at below this level here at about 220, 225. We start breaching that and open and closing below that on a 2 or 3 dailies. We probably are going to go test down here into the 175 to about $2 range. So not super sexy. ADA kind of is looking pretty fugly. Yeah, not my favorite chart, that's for sure. And also 220, 230. Okay, so right about 5 cents above that 225 area is this weekly previous all-time high close. So very, very important that we do hold that that 220s handle on the low end. So we got support, or we got that major resistance at about 250, and then we've got 220s is kind of like the bottom end of that range for support. So if it's above 220-ish, it's probably okay, but I'm not really liking this for longs below 250 in this current price structure. Link is okay. Link is kind of looking like Ethereum a little bit. Pretty sloppy though. Just no momentum on the oscillators. I mean, let's go to the weekly to get a better idea of those. Maybe a 3-day. Reconnect my drive. What are you talking about? The 3-day actually looks still okay. A lot like Ethereum's chart. So in this box we have drawn, it's the same shit. We'll extend it over a little bit. And so as long as it's in this box, it's just consolidating and ranging. So it's just whatever. And you do have to lean a little bit bullish in this structure, as long as it's above about like 24, 25-ish. But I wouldn't get full bull boners back on until we start getting like, you can see every time we come out of this box here, it's not much longer that we get rejected. So it looks like, let's go to the weekly. It looks like we need an open and close weekly above about 29 bucks. If we get an open and close weekly above $29, then we probably will run to the mid to upper 30s on this. That's the bull case scenario. Bearish case scenario, man, it really better hold. I really think it should hold this 2650 level. Otherwise, we probably at least hit the other end of this box and probably lower over time. Bulls should be going up, right? What should a bull market be doing? Going up. And so we got this real nice sideways chop fest 3000, but hey, it's still in the stupid box. All right, let's see. Pretty, man, just sloppy ass mid-range charts, man. There's just not much to do here. Yeah, I mean, this looks like it has decent support on the lower time frames, about upper $4. Anything I think below 470s, 475 probably gets us to the lower fours. And then anything back above 550-ish and open and close on a couple dailies, we start doing that, we probably will come at least test back up into the mid sixes and probably beyond after this structure here if the bulls can manage to get that going. Let's see. Weekly. Yeah, the only thing is this is a pretty ugly engulfing candle on the weekly right here. So, yeah, shit, man. That's, yeah, a lot of this is just kind of like, it's just passes for me. It's like 50-50 shots right smack in the middle of long-term ranges and price action. So it's just kind of like whatever. BCH. This is actually kind of making lower highs and lower lows outside of this little fake out pump. Bears do have some dominance on this chart on the daily. This is actually one of the worst looking charts across all time frames. Bulls are trying to hold on to the weekly. Man, anything back below like 550, funny that number has been mentioned so many times on this chart. The mid fives. Man, we lose mid fives, like 550-ish, 560. It's probably coming down to low fives, and I would not be surprised to see in the fours too, mid upper fours. This is probably one of the worst looking charts on that we've looked at so far, and you can kind of clearly see this little base is trying to pump out right around 600. So man, hold that upper fives, like 580 to 600. That's kind of like the line in the sand. For the Bulls and for the Bears, I'm sorry, for the Bears, that's, oh my God. No, that is the line in the sand for the Bulls. Below that, we get chopped out. But on the upper end, for the Bulls to get big, nice bull boners, we really got to get back above this candle structure here in this horizontal at 750. So a lot of work to do for the Bulls. BSV, I mean, it's okay above this horizontal 140s. You can see that's been respected a whole lot of times in this structure. 1, 2, 3, 83, 45, 6 times. You can see all that business, blah, blah, blah. Look at on the weekly. It's real clear how important this horizontal is in the mid 140s. So as long as we're above that, yeah, okay, whatever. It's okay. Not a huge fan of this structure, though. But, I mean, you can't really get too excited for Bears until it gets below 145. And bull boner, what would give me some bull boner flow, blood flow? Probably some 2-3 daily closes above 170. Then I'll start to change my tune on that. XMR, not very sexy, kind of looks the same, just trapped in this stupid range, man. It's just whatever, man. There's just not really much to talk about on that. Same with ZEC. I mean, between the daily 200, 377, I mean, that's just Man, look at this. The weeklies finally plot the 200 EMA. Every single EMA that really matters is within $10 of each other. So again, there is some big ass move coming from this structure that we're having across most of the coins. There is a Fed meeting this week. Maybe that brings some volatility or some slaps out of this range so we can get to trending at least one way or the other, because, you know, sideways chop action is not really fun for anyone. Same thing here. We're working on a bearish reset. It doesn't quite have it yet. And if it stays below like 190-ish, if it stays below 200, 190 for another like 4 or 5 days, we'll probably get that. But again, just right in this stupid range. Just nothing to really do with that. Doge has a full-on bearish reset on the Bitcoin pairing. Man, it's continuing to grow too from the last video we did. We talked about it having a full bearish reset, and it's still continuing to the downside. We lose this 440-ish area on the Satoshi pairing. I'd be very, very cautious with Doge. Do we have the same thing? Yes, we do have the same thing now on the daily. So on USD pairing, we did not have that when we did the last video on Doge, and we do have it now. So Doge is actually looking a little bit heavier to me now, sub 25 cents. I don't like this. This actually does look like the bears want to push this down to 20, like upper teens to like 22 pennies, something like that, a little 4-cent range. Let's go to the weekly. Yeah, weekly below the mama. This is the first close below the mama, and this will be the first open and close below the mama that we've had in a long time, since all the way back last fall. So that kind of sucks for Dogecoin. Really saying that this 27 to like 29, 30 cent range is mega resistance on Dogecoin. This looks sloppy as hell. Like, if I flip this chart right here, you would think this is bullish as F, wouldn't you? I mean, look at this. Nice rally, big candle, consolidating at the tops, kind of just inching its way up. Yeah, that's bullish as hell, but unfortunately it's not, because that's inverted. So, not very good looking chart there. Hex, of course, you can't stop Hex. Hex is just absolutely ridiculous. Yesterday, very nice close on Hex above all these doji indecision candles. This really is kind of opening the door to our next target, and it sounds crazy as hell, I know. But it's up here almost at about 70 pennies. Crazy stuff for Hex. It does have a read. Okay, so here's one point of caution. I've talked about this a lot on these oscillator settings for RSI and these EMAs. Whenever I see a higher high and divergence with this specifically, not just with the RSI, but when I see divergence where there's a higher high and prices below these MAs that are applied on RSI, because in TradingView you can put indicators on top of indicators, so you can add indicator strategy on top of RSI, which is pretty cool. Anyway, whenever I see that, not just traditional divergence where it's like, you know, sometimes you will get that happening where the RSI is still above the MAs and it's showing divergence. I don't really care about those that much. Those are usually good buys or sells, you know, whichever the trend is. But when you get it like this and it's a higher high of the price on a closing basis, but you're still below the line, I do warrant a lot of caution on those, because those get thrown back a lot. So let's just say if we can get a couple open and closes on the daily above 50 cents, then we can really start targeting that upper 60s, 70 cent level. But until then, this is a little bit concerning on that. Let's zoom in. Not so bad on the... Jesus Christ, look at this volume, though. Just killing it. I mean, it's like, if you just take those volume candles out, look, you can kind of see a lot of it right here. But then, look, you scroll over and put in this recent volume. Jesus Christ, that is dwarfing the entire volume of this whole entire chart. Even on the daily, it's very evident. Like you can see here, oh, nice volume. Then you scroll over and you're like, oh my God, it's just been destroyed by pretty much these only 3-4 days here. Maybe a lot of people exiting or something. Who knows? But I would warrant a little bit. Caution's definitely warranted here with this little setup here. We definitely want confirmation of breakout. So dailies, like 2-3 daily, open and closes above 50 cents, and then we can start targeting 70 cents. All right, equities. Oh, what about the downside? Sorry, I didn't put that up. On the downside, go back to daily. On the downside, if we break this structure here at 35 pennies, I would probably be looking for a pretty swift move to the 55 exponential. So that resides in the mid-20s as of now. All right. Let's go ES. ES getting follow through from the nasty weekly a couple weeks ago, and then this current or last week we did close below the VWAP, so we are closing below the 10 simple on the weekly. This daily candle was very ugly, but look where it got caught, right on this previous low, right on the mama, right on the 55. So if there's going to be a bounce, it probably will come from here. I don't like this read. Is pretty, it's kind of ugly to be fair, but just where price kind of stopped, it is very interesting. Let's zoom in a little bit. The 3 hour lost everything. The 3 hour is actually pretty bearish. Shit. Yeah, this actually doesn't look terrible. Or it actually kind of does look terrible. I'm sorry, but it is right on the 55. So in this market, we've bounced off this shit like every single time, pretty much, that since the fall. Every single time it has bounced off of that. Will this time be different? Yeah, maybe, because there is a little bit of difference in the price structure than these other times. You can see most of these are like within a day or two. It like just is like, oh no, we're good, and that's what bulls should do, right? Bulls should be rallying it up. So they do it there. Like literally, actually, every time on the daily time frame, they immediately bounce off within a day or two at max. What happened here is we actually started camping below the 21 EMA. Let me zoom in a little bit. Below the 21 EMA for the entire week. We got 5 open and closes below the 21. That has not happened in this rally since the fall back over here in last September. How funny is that? Pretty weird. September is seasonally weak. It's pretty interesting that it's almost the exact same structure as over here. And even on, let's zoom in. Look at this crap, guys. Look at this. This candle right here is a Friday, this one. And look what happened on the next week. Had a nasty week, probably getting everybody super bearish, and then ripped all their faces off. All right, so very interesting that this structure is almost identical, put that in your head, to what's happening here. Very, very interesting to me. I would be probably buying this at the mid 4300s. It's kind of what I'm hoping I can get on the overnight session that opens here in a few hours, or Monday morning or something like that, or early in the week. And again, there is the Fed. So real conservative traders are probably just going to wait until after Wednesday, or at least after the Fed meeting Wednesday afternoon at, I believe they're 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. So anyway, kind of ugly. Kind of also ugly here. This does look like it kind of wants to come test like 15.1-ish. Let's go to the weekly. Weekly still looks fine. Weekly doesn't look as bad on NASDAQ, which is not surprising. Tech stocks have been rallying really hard. Dow looks terrible. Dow has, look at this. Not like 55 is the real big pivot point for the daily. And so not only did ES just camp below the 21, which has been its pivot point since the Corona crash pretty much. Now we have 6. We actually have 6 open and closed candles below the 55. That has not happened since how many is this? 1, 2, 3, 4. It's only 4 here. What do we got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So here we go. And also last fall in late October and it was a little flush out before the rally happened. And it wasn't as orderly as what we have now. This little camp super sideways, 200-300 point range. And this was really volatile, like, down 2, 3, camp, up 1, 2, 3. I mean, it's a little bit different, but that's the last time that we did have open and closes that many times below the 21, or the 55, I'm sorry. And I guess maybe we'll just count this one too, whatever, close is close enough. And so you had the fall of last year were the only 2 times that we've camped below that. But the very huge difference of price structure is looking left, you've got this nice cluster coming out of the Corona crash, and you got the long-term EMAs right below it providing that nice support. Fast forward to today, the long-term EMAs are way down here. They're 1,000, 1,500 points lower, about 4% for the 200, and the 377 is 13% away from current price action. That's actually pretty damn crazy. So if bears want to start putting the pressure on, we've broke this trend line, we've broke the mama, we've broke the 55. This is the time for them to shine if they're going to do something, especially on Dow. I think any price action below 34,200 is probably going to open the doors to a test to the 200 MA. And, that's going to rise a little bit, like 100 or like 50 points or so, like every day. That price just kind of stays up here. So I do think that's in the cards for a test there, but we do need to breach 34.2-ish. That's a nice critical horizontal. If we stay above that, it's a good chance that bulls will bounce it back up to about 35 flat. Let's go to the weekly. Yeah, and as you can see, it's not as bearish on the weekly. You just have this nasty engulfing, which is kind of ugly to be fair, but you're sitting right on top of that 21 EMA, which is agreeing with that horizontal and the 34.2 handle. So as long as price is above that, you don't have to worry about it. We start getting a daily 1 or 2 open and closes on a daily below this, and probably even like a 8 hour, like a medium long-term time frame. I would be looking for like a 1,000-point move to the downside. And for the upside, we just really need to start getting back above 35,000. Russell, absolute. God damn it, boy. Damn it, Bobby. What are you doing? Look at this thing. This weekly doji at 20. I don't know what it is with the 2230 level on Russell, but it is a magnet for price. And it won't move from there. It's just chilling. You got 200 right below it. Sloppy EMAs all the way around. I mean, there is just nothing to do with this chart. If anything, like, if the IV is low enough, buying a damn strangle or iron condor on this might actually be an interesting play at some point, which I almost never do because it almost is always a losing trade. But it's just kind of crazy that this 2230 level has been beast mode. I should have been doing butterflies around that 2230 area for the last for this summer. That's been a very, very good trade because it's just pinned, like I said, just magnet for price around that area. But there really isn't shit to do here. It's in the middle of its stupid range. It's clear as day on the weekly. I mean, look at this thing, 2160-ish, 2300, and we're right smack in the middle of it. Whatever, who cares? Stupid Russell. Oh, man, we're breaching this trend line cross. This actually is adding bearishness to the Dow and kind of just the general market. Bulls best hold on to this 14.2 area. We lose 14.2. This could get pretty freaking ugly. And this is starting to shape up as just like a little relief fake-out rally. This is a pump on some stupid news that only half our government was like, yay, infrastructure bill, yay. Puts in like this little ascending type triangle on a daily, breaches it, done. Just moves to the other side. And now it's the Bulls' chance to defend the other side of this kind of, this kind of pretty defined range right about here. So it is now their chance to defend this area. Can they do it? Tune in tomorrow. VIX still showing. We were talking about that on the 3 hour or on the show a few days ago. Back over here, it was starting to build a long-term position or bias to the VIX, and also VVIX was doing it as well. VVIX has gotten a little bit sloppier than VIX now. But yeah, the VIX is, I mean, this is like a bona fide daily reset right here. I mean, you have every metric you want on the VIX right now for a big pop. Man, interesting. Yeah, careful. VIX above 19 handle, the $19 handle. There's, be cautious for some pumpage on, or some sellage, I guess, on traditionals. There is some pretty good resistance here at about 21 bones, but man, these oscillators look really nice, and we're above the 200. Maybe even 1920, 1950 might negate this, but pretty interesting. Volatility is bid, rallying off of this trend line one more again. Interesting. Yeah, this week should be pretty fun. All right, CL, we got this biatch looking pretty good. Breaking out. I took a little stab here on a short at this trend line cross. I was in profit for about a day, and then I got stopped out for a little bit of a loss. That's okay. That happens sometimes. It's all good. Just stop out when price tells you. I stopped out on this day when it breached 71 bucks. Thank God I did, because the next day it went to go up another $2. That would have brought me a little bit of pain. But now this is actually looking kind of bullish. Nice bounce, retest of the breakout and the trend line cross. As long as this is holding like 70, 50, 71 bucks, we've got the daily reset. Let's go to the weekly. Weekly closed pretty damn good. 3 hour is whatever. It's only a 3 hour, so also whatever. Above 70 handle, I'm liking this for long side now. Breaking out. Let's see if the bulls can get an attempt above $74 and make a new high in the structure, on the longer term structure. Then we can start really looking for some moves on oil. You know, shit, maybe back up to upper 70s or so. But yeah, I'm going to wait till next week, see how kind of or this week, I guess, for price action, since it is Sunday, and see if bulls can kind of defend the 70 handle. And then I'll probably nibble on some longs there. Let's see. Bonds, just stupid sideways, man. It's like a crypto chart or something. Let's just erase this trend line because it's pretty much irrelevant now. Yeah, I mean, you can kind of see this box, 162, 165. I mean, could kind of trade that, but it's pretty sloppy. I don't know. I don't really like this chart now. I really did like it back over here when all these EMAs were looking super sexy off this long-term trend line. And now they just got spaghettied out, and they're just it's just a hard read. Man, notes just getting mollywopped. See if they can find some support against this over here to the left. I would imagine there's going to be some big moves this week with the Fed meeting, and just how these how these charts are structured. Interesting, this kind of breach below this and this kind of ascending triangle formation as a basing pattern, and immediately got bid back up it, and it looks like it's trying to actually do a breakout. You can kind of move this up probably to the tops of the bodies there. You can see that's about exactly where it stopped. Boom, boom, boom. And so we get a couple daily closes above 138. We probably are going to run pretty hard on that. So interesting. Squeezes. Dollar rallying pretty hard the last couple days. I mean, this is bullish as hell. Whenever you see a candle close on the tops of the candle, I mean, that's very, very bullish, and generally we'll get continuation. So that is interesting for the dollar. Will it be able to actually break out? Man, the 3 hour looks beast mode. It still does have major resistance, though. If we have to go to a weekly to really see it, it really has major resistance at about 93.70. So it looks like it's kind of on its way there to test it, though. It really does. Sloppy kind of whatever the hell pattern that is. The camel humps. Decent support, 116. I mean, it doesn't look very good, though. Rejection candle, follow through, sell off from this trend line that's been respected very, very, like numerous times. So until it really breaks that, you can't really get bullish on it. DAX selling off hard on Friday too. This actually kind of adds to the bearish case for equities. Does it kind of base out here and just chill at about 15.3 handle? Yeah, it could for sure, but you know, I guess as long as it's holding that 15.3 handle, it's okay. But I mean, I don't really like this structure. I'm not playing the DAX, but kind of lackluster. What's a bull market supposed to do? It's supposed to go up. Why did it not go up for almost an entire month and just went sideways? That's what you have to question. And making lower highs. It's not like it was drifting. It was just making lower highs the whole time. So kind of ugly. I'd say sub 15.8 and above 15 like 4-ish is kind of the range right here until it gets out of there. There isn't really any trend. Shanghai going to the horizontal target, getting swiftly rejected. Pretty brutal week last week for Shanghai, but will it find support right here for the bulls in the upper 35s and low 36s? That is its test. Yeah, kind of a slappity McSlapson on the weekly. It said, oh, let's go. Oh, nope, just kidding. And it's like almost even price action, so... yeah, back below 35.50, I'd start to get concerned on this. Outside of that, though, it looks okay. Here's the real story that definitely needs to be talked about. Gold. I definitely got a little slapped on my gold positions. That did not feel very good, but that's okay. You got to take losses in this game. It's just part of it. I took off a lot of my gold exposure actually on this candle here on this day because I was just like, man, you're up against these all this resistance and this gap and all this. You could see that. Yeah, I am kicking myself a little bit. I took probably about 60% off there. But that other 40% I left on pretty much made me break even on the trade. So that kind of sucked, but you know, whatever. You never know that you're going to get damn $35 move in one day and then breach. You can see, actually, for my own rules, whenever you get one candle that cuts all of the EMAs and even the long terms, you can't get back above half back on that candle. The trend is over. So probably missed that. Probably could have taken off the other stuff when it was floating around here and bulls weren't getting no love. But that's okay, whatever. It is what it is. Is this some kind of sloppy inverted head and shoulders? I don't know. Maybe. Kind of see what I'm talking about here. Let's see if I can draw it. It's real sloppy if it is. You know, this is like possibly a shoulder forming. Maybe. But it really has to hold right here. I don't really like this chart that it's below and closed definitively below this horizontal and attempted to get above it on Friday and could not. So that's pretty brutal. And the 2-day and the mama didn't get fooled. You know, if you listen to the show a lot, I like the 2-day open and close above the mama average here as a trend follower for gold. And you can see it got one. It didn't get an open and close, though. Immediate rejection, and we're getting follow through to the downside. So bulls got some work to do with precious metals. Silver, absolute rejection, mollywop fest, man. This thing is pretty brutal. We are holding on for dear life on silver. This chart looks so good on the monthly. I mean, it looked super, super good. And now it's starting to look a little bit broken. The monthly still got 11 days on it. Let's go back to the weekly. I mean, this VWAP from way back is probably going to provide some pretty good support at 21. But, man, this is a pretty nasty chart. Bears are really trying to show their dominance here. You got the last line of defense here all in this 22 handle. So anything back below 22 flat, I would start to really reconsider the bullishness of silver long term. Platinum just kind of chilling down here. It didn't get no big super dump like gold and silver did. So that is kind of different and interesting. Still pretty bearish, though. Below 950, it's not very sexy. Palladium just continuing to just get dump fest 3000. I mean, this is just in a serious downtrend. Will there be support right here? Yeah, there probably is going to be a little bounce off this area. There's a lot of business done right here. And the 200 is not too far below it. So I could see some kind of relief bounce at some point coming up here in the next week or so. All right, that's probably it for me today. Much love. Wrapping up with final thoughts here on oh, actually one more thing. Let's go to the blockchain stuff, see how those weekly closed. Oh, ugly, pretty ugly. Nothing to ride home about. Very indecisive. Kind of continuation from an engulfing type candle. More indecision back in the stupid range. And Hut still looks okay above $8. So pretty funny that Hut's doing it. How's GBDC doing? GBDC is actually kind of below the mama. It did ride it, kind of like spot price, but nothing really too much to see there. All right, so final thoughts. Y'all know what it is. Same shit as last video. Nothing's really changed in the last week. 44, 48. You know, one could argue 46,000 is pretty important as well. But I like to give Bitcoin a little bit of extra space because it does just do crazy shit. So about 44, 48 until we're out of that range. Whatever. A little cautious here on the sloppy dailies. Struggling to get above these 618 zones. That 48,000 level. And Ethereum, same also 33, 36. Until it's out of there, it's kind of just range and ping-ponging. You can see that we had one attempt right here. Just barely closed over 36, immediate indecision candle, and then follow through to the downside. So this is really harping at what we were talking about in the last video, that 36 is pretty important on the upside for the bulls. And you can kind of see that right here. Even if you use wicks or bodies, you know, and people argue, well, which ones do you use? Who cares? Use whichever one you want. A lot of times I just split the difference, or I'll do both. And then I put like a little box around that area. So I'll do that, and I'm like, oh, it's kind of just like in this range. Close is close enough, guys. This isn't freaking rocket science. It does not have to be perfect. And especially with something that's this big with prices, you know, 3, 4 Bitcoin, $40,000, you know, like, and it's so volatile too. I mean, it's really, really pointless to get that granular on the price data, in my opinion, which, you know, probably doesn't mean shit. So whatever. Anyway, so that's it. Much love. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow. I'll see y'all for sure tomorrow in the morning. And hope y'all enjoy the rest of your weekend. Happy Sunday. Much love.